Hello everyone, my name is Bahadur Mori and I am an English and SS teacher in Sahajanan English Medium School at Nathej, Una. And this is part 3 of this video. And this chapter, standard 9, chapter number 1, Rise of British Rule in India, part 3. Right. We reached the Battle of Plassey. Right. So I have to continue from this point. And if you want to know the what happened before that, so you have to go to in our gallery and find the video and listen that video very carefully, so you can clarify the all points. Now I am continue from this point. Battle of Plassey. Siraj Uddullah was ruling over Bengal. Due to his impulsive nature, he had some opponent in his state. See, Siraj Uddullah was ruling over the Bengal, right? As we know that British got the permission from Shahjahan to trade in the Bengal, right? Now the British started the trading center in the Bengal. He reached to that Bengal, right? And they got the permission from Shahjahan, as we know that. So there is a Sirajuddullah was ruling over there, and due to his impulsive nature, then possessive kind of very cruel nature, not a good nature. That's kind of nature. He had some opponent in his state, so that's why he had some opposite opposite over there at that time. He has. During this period, the British East India Company built a fortress around the trade center in the Kolkata on pretext of security reason. So British during that time, Sirajuddaulah time, they British started the built a fortress there is built for the reason they give to the Sirajuddaulah. If we want to protect for a security reason, they want to build a fort, and without taking a permission of Nawab. So British started the built fortress without taking permission from Sirajuddaulah. And as we know that Sirajuddaulah nature is a impulsive, very bad nature, very possessive kind of nature. So without taking permission, British started the built his fortress. But Nawab Sirajuddaulah destroyed the fortress. See, obviously Sirajuddaulah didn't like that. Without my permission, how the Britisher can do this? So he just destroyed the fortress. When this news reached Madras, currently Chennai, a small army of company led by Robert Clive. See, here is a new character name is a Robert Clive, very important character, Robert Clive, regarding our history. So after the destroy the fortress by Sirajuddaulah, this news reached to the Madras, Chennai. A small army of the company led by the Robert Clive, right, reached Bengal in order to help the Kolkata Trade Center. He reached to the Bengal to help the Kolkata Trade Center. And in spite of the army of the East India Company being a strong, they realized that it was not easy to defeat the Nawab's army. See, Robert Clive, very smart and very intelligent man, and he knew everything that he had a very small army groups and a very small army troops, so he can't. He knows that he couldn't defeat Sirajuddaulah. So very smartly he decided to we have to do some. We have to do another way. So Robert Clive resorted to treachery. Definitely, so Robert Clive started to the treachery. Treachery, that means one kind of a cheating manner. So Robert Clive resorted to treachery. A conspiracy was planned in order to defeat the Nawab. So he just created the conspiracy and created the conspiracy conflict to how to defeat the Nawab of Sirajuddaulah, in which the Nawab's commander-in-chief Mir Jafar, please make underline this one, Mir Jafar, and Seth Hamilton, please two characters, Seth Hamilton and Mir Jafar, were coerced to join. So they are joined to Robert Clive, and Robert Clive succeed for convince to him, and he gave to the some kind of offer. If you support me, so I will make you Nawab of Bengal. So Mir Jafar, commander-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan. So Mir Jafar and Sheikh Hamilton were coaxed to join on the pretext that Nawab in unnecessarily harassing the people, and a war was declared at a ground near a village named Plassey. See, so before he fought with the Nawab Sirajuddaulah Khan, Robert Clive already knew that if directly I fight with Sirajuddaulah Khan, so definitely I will lose. So he decided before I going to the war, I have to make some make some make some plan to how to without any more effort, without any more loss, how to I defeat to Sirajuddaulah Khan. So British are always know that divide and rules. So that policy they applied divide and rule. So they they convinced to the commander chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan, chief of Mir Jafar, and set emergency support to the Robert Clive. And finally, war started at a place name is Plassey. Plassey, the place name, right? See here is the bracket. So the Battle of Plassey was fought on 23rd June 1757 AD. Very important year and name you have to memorize. Battle of Plassey fought on 23rd June 1757 AD. The Battle of Plassey is situated in 30 km from Murshidabad, West Bengal. So Battle of Plassey exactly situated in the West Bengal, Murshidabad, 38 km distance. Situated from the Murshidabad, 38 km. According to the plan, so Robert Clay already set the plan how to conquer Sirajuddaulah, how defeat to Sirajuddaulah. According to the plan, Mr. Jafar lost the battle. See, Sirajuddaulah Khan's commander-chief of Mir Jafar already, took the side with Robert Clive. So, according to Robert Clive plan, Mir Jafar lost the battle. Sirajuddaulah was defeated. So, Sirajuddaulah was defeated. He lost his Plassey war. Due to Robert Clive's treachery, the Battle of Plassey ended in just a half day. See. Very smart people always look very long way, and he thought in the very deep way. So Robert Clive, one of them. So Robert Clive make a very treasury wonderfully, and he conveyed to the Mir Jafar, and he took his side. And in the half day, according to plan, Mir Jafar lost the battle, and Sirajuddaulah was defeated, and Plassey war won by British. The company as a result got a freehold over 24 paragons. Paragons in the area kind of covering is the name of that time, paragons. So 24 paragons got. See, within a half day he got the 24 paragons region area होता है वो. Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of Bengal according to promise of Robert Clive. Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of Bengal. Thus, the foundation of the company's rule in India was laid with the Battle of Plassey in 1757. So, this battle is the very important according to history. This battle changed the history of India currently also. If you thought what happened if the Battle of Plassey would not happen? So many things will be happen. We can't imagine. Many people have different view. See, so thus the foundation of company, the foundation of company role in India was laid with the Battle of Plassey. With the Battle of Plassey in 1757. After the won Plassey battle on 20th June, right, and 1757. So British have got 24 paragons. He can collecting the taxes through this 24 paragons. According to promise, he sat on the throne, Mir Jafar, right. So actually in this paragraph Battle of Plassey, if I say some few points you have to memorize. Historical knowledge very difficult to memorize, but if you make a point notes, so you can easily memorize. See, Battle of Plassey, history can't need a more explanation. So you have to name a few names. First name Sirajuddaulah Khan, you have to point out it. Sirajuddaulah Khan ruled in Bengal thing. Who and Commander-Chief of Mir Jafar. Second name, Commander-Chief of Mir Jafar, and other support is Seth Hamilton. Two names you have to memorize. And third name is Robert Clive, right? Robert Clive, third name, right? And this three things you have to memorize. And other thing is that when was the Battle of Plassey fought? So 23rd June 1757, and this year you have to memorize. Right. So who won the Battle of Plassey? The British won the Battle of Plassey and lead by Robert Clive. Right. Lead by Robert Clive. And what got the Britisher through from this Battle of Plassey? So after won the Battle of Plassey, Britisher got freehold over 24 Peregans, right? Who become a king after Sirajuddaulah Khan? Who was the become a king after Sirajuddaulah Khan? So answer is Mir Jafar become a king after Sirajuddaulah Khan. And if other question is that who betrayed Sirajuddaulah Khan? So Mir Jafar betrayed Sirajuddaulah Khan. Who was the commander-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan army? So Mir Jafar was the commander-chief of Sirajuddaulah Khan. Right. So these are the character name of Battle of Plassey. You have to memorize only one 23rd June 1757 year. You have to memorize Sirajuddaulah Khan. And why the Battle of Plassey happened? As we know that the kind of opponent mind of Sirajuddaulah Khan. Right. So this point you have to write in your fair book, and that you can easily memorize everything. Right, history and data only revision and notes, so you can easily memorize. So now we have to go to next point, Battle of Buxar. Battle of Buxar, second war, very important regarding our history, Indian history. So Battle of Buxar, the Britisher made, one second boys, okay. The Battle of Buxar, the Britisher made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal, and under the different pretext tried to extract plenty of the wealth from him. See, Britisher made the Mir Jafar, as we know that, Nawab of Bengal, under the different pretext, under the different different view they convinced him. What pretext? That means they try to convince and some kind of rules and some conditions. Try to extract plenty of the wealth. They try to extract the plenty of the wealth. They want to money. They want to benefit from him, from Mir Jafar. And due to their greed to gain more power, so Mir Jafar is a very greedy man. So due to their greed to gain more power, the East India Company managed to dethrone Mir Jafar and made Mir Qasim. See, so due to the Mir Jafar, very greedy man. Mir Jafar was a very greedy man. He want to acquire more power. So that's why Mir Qasim proved to the more ambitious than East India Company and destroy the Mir Jafar. They removed the Mir Jafar from the throne, and they made another person, Mir Qasim. One name, new name, Mir Qasim. Mir Qasim, the Nawab of Bengal. So they removed the Mir Jafar. Why they remove the Mir Jafar? Britisher remove the Mir Jafar because Mir Jafar is very greedy kind of man and he want to more power. So that's why they remove the Mir Jafar and they made a new king, Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim. The Nawab of Bengal, the Mir Qasim became, and Mir Qasim proved to be more ambitious than Mir Jafar. Look, now Britisher made a Mir Qasim to Nawab of Bengal, but Mir Qasim was more greedy than Mir Jafar. Thus become a threat for the companies. Hence the Mir Qasim was removed and Mir Jafar was again made the Nawab. So Mir Qasim lost his place, lost his throne, and Britisher again made a Mir Jafar to Nawab of Bengal. Right, because Mir Qasim is more greedy and more different kind of opposite kind of person, so they didn't want to continue on throne. So Mir Qasim took refuge with the Nawab of Awadh. Mir Qasim took refuge with the Nawab of Awadh, and during this time the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam had come to Awadh. See, on this time Shah Alam also come to the Awadh, and Mir Jafar somehow save his life from the war, and he just rescue his life, and he took refuge with the Nawab of Awadh. He just take the refuge in Nawab of Awadh. He got help from the Nawab of Awadh, and Nawab of Awadh gives letter to Mir Qasim. And during this time Mughal Emperor Shah Alam had come to Awadh. So all the three of them decide to join hands and fight the company unitedly, and thus the declares of war. See, now the three powerful men together met together. They decided that we have to meet together and we have to fight against Britishers. So three, Mir Qasim, Nawab of Awadh, and Shah Alam, the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. Three men came together and decided to join hands and fight against the company. They united together and fight against the company. So thus they three decide and declare the war of Buxar. At Buxar, the East India Company fought against the United Army including Mir Qasim, Nawab of Awadh and Shah Alam, which date 22 October 1764. Very important years you have to memorize. 26 October 1764, in which the United Army lost. See, in this way United Army lost. Thus the company got the Diwani rights, right to collect revenue. Diwani, that means taxes, and the right to collect revenue to Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. So he got the Diwani rights, he got the revenue rights collect to the Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. So these two war, gave British more and more power in India. Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. So in the Battle of Buxar, you have to memorize when was the Battle of Buxar occurred. So 22 October 1764, with whom? So we can say that Battle of Plassey occurred with Britishers, a company, and United Army. United Army in the Awadh, Mir Qasim and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam, you have to memorize. Right, in this Battle of Buxar won British company won this war, and after won the Battle of Buxar, British got Diwani rights, right to collect revenue to Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. This few points you have to memorize. See, within a 2 points, within a 2 battle, he got many things, right? So some few points: Mir Qasim, Mir Zafar, Nawab of Awadh, Shah Alam, United Army, right? And the Buxar place, there is a Buxar war fought, date 22 October 1764, and British got Diwani rights, Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. These things you have to memorize. Now, expansion of the company rule. Expansion of the company rule. They expansion, they increase the company rule, they expand, that means to फैलाना बढ़ाना. Expand of the company rule. Let's see what expand the company rules. The English government passed a regulation act in 1773 AD. So please underline this one. Regulation act passed in 1773 AD, according to which the governor of Bengal was made the governor general, and all the trade and political activities of the company were brought under his direct control. See, according, what is the regulating act? If the answer in the exam, what is regulating act and when was the regulating act passed? The British government passed a regulating act when? So answer is 1773 AD. And what is regulating act? See, regulating act is very easy. Directly all the taxes control directly under the Britishers. And Nawab of Bengal, a governor of Bengal, was made one governor. Rajyapal right now governor. He made one governor, and governor also the governor representative Britisher, right? And also governor from British Army. So governor and all the trade political activities of the company, directly controlled through the governor. Brought under the directly control through the governor. Governor can control all the tax, revenues, or British company activities, political activities, directly controlled by governor. So ultimately, governor have a equal power like him. I think not equal, more power like him. So no one can interrupt with the Britishers. This is the very regulating act. Very smartly they built regulating act in 1773. In this act, Now, any Nawab, here is the Bengal of Nawab. So, Nawab of Bengal, right? Nawab of Bengal, he had made one post. That post name is a governor. He recruit one governor, and that governor only control the British political activities and companies, all the trading activities. No one can interrupt him. He reported direct to the company, direct to his ruling, like England and all that. King and any king, yeah, ruler king, yeah, any Nawab can't interrupt with the governor. Governor has separate power, different power. He had a power to rule himself, his army, and his trading and all that. See, this very smartly they started the post. They built a post governor. So the Mumbai Madras governor and his council were brought under him. So directly they create their three governor posts. Mumbai Madras governor and his council were brought under him. Thus, Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. Please underline Warren Hastings. Here the picture of Warren Hastings, Governor General Warren Hastings. First Governor General of India is Warren Hastings. Governor post is directly controls by the queen, under the king. No one can interrupt it. He have directly power to control his companies and his British trading and all that. So Mumbai Madras governor and his council were brought under him, and thus, so this Mumbai Madras Governor Council directly under the governor, and the first Governor General of India is Warren Hastings. You have to memorize. During his tenure, that means during his time, the first Maratha war and second Mysore war with Hyder Ali of Mysore was waged. So during this time, the two war happened. First Maratha war and second Mysore war. During the tenure of Warren Hastings time, you have to memorize this one. The problem for the East India Company increased because it had to face both the powers simultaneously, right? Both the power of the simultaneously. So they have more issues because the Marathas and Mysore, they both the different power, and they problems increase and increase because the Maratha is very interrupt to the Britishers at that time. So Cornwallis took over the Governor General after Warren Hastings. So under the Warren Hastings, two war happened: first Maratha war and second Mysore war with Hyder Ali. These things you underline it, right? Hyder Ali of Mysore, right? So the one Maratha war and Mysore war happened tenure on which Governor General. So your answer will be Warren Hastings. After this conflict and difficulty, Cornwallis took charge as a Governor General after Warren Hastings. So after Warren Hastings, who became a Governor of General of India? The Cornwallis. Clear? During the tenure of Cornwallis, now what happened with the time of Cornwallis? The third Mysore war. Third Mysore war happened tenure of Cornwallis. Took place with Tipu Sultan. So Cornwallis fought with Tipu Sultan. The third Mysore war took place with Tipu Sultan, famously known as a Tiger of Mysore. Please underline this one. Who was the famously known as a Tiger of Mysore? The Tipu Sultan was the Tiger of Mysore. Tiger of Mysore. War took place with Tipu Sultan, famously known as a Tiger of Mysore. The company had to join hand with the Maratha and the Nizam to defeat the Tipu Sultan. So now British are also British never very feel shame to take support from anywhere. So he just get the support from he just try to support from Marathas. Marathas at that time very powerful position. So Maratha support to the British and Nizam also support to the British. The support from the Marathas and Nizams to defeat the Nawab, defeat to the Tipu Sultan. Tipu could not win against the combined force. Which are the combined force? Maratha, Nawab and British. and had to accept the treaty. So Tipu Sultan had to accept the treaty because of the combined army, Maratha, Nawab, Nizam army and the British company army. So the combined army, with combined army, Tipu Sultan can't defeat to the combined army. So he had to accept the treaty. So what happened next? After the Cornwallis, Sir John Shore became the Governor General. So see, Warren Hastings, first Governor General, then after Cornwallis, and now third Governor General of John Shore. John Shore became the Governor Generals, right? Due to the some rigid policies adopted by him, some kind of rigid and very critical kind of politicians they adopted him. The East India Company fame declined and the Maratha became stronger. See, rigid, that means some kind of silly decision by John Shore. That's why the Maratha increased his power, and Maratha become more stronger because of the Sir John's took the very rigid political decisions. So Governor General Wellesley, who came after John Shore. Please now underline this one: Governor General Wellesley. Warren Hastings, Cornwallis, Sir Johns, and after that Wellesley. Who came after John Shore? John Shore के बाद वेलेस्ली जी आए. Got the responsibility to making the company supreme in India. So Wellesley have a charge to the, he has to be he has to be make a East India Company powerful in India. That was the responsibility of making company to supreme in India. That was responsibility. Now the response on Wellesley. Wellesley introduced the subsidiary alliance. Please underline this one. Wellesley, who introduced the subsidiary alliance? Wellesley. Subsidiary alliance. Please underline. Wellesley introduced the subsidiary alliance. This subsidiary alliance did the many bad things for India. The condition of the system and the state adopted under this are as follows. So what are the condition and what are the situation and which are the state under this one? What is the subsidiary alliance? Here is your answer. What is the subsidiary alliance? Your answer is here. Terms and condition of subsidiary alliance. The army trained by the East India Company government will be provided to the state that accept the system. This army would protect the state from internal and external attacks. The army trained by the East India Company, the East India Company will train the army, and a governor will be provided to the state that accept it. So whatever the state provided by the governor, that particular state has to be accepted the terms and condition of the British, and he provide the training and training given by the British. This army would protect state from the internal and external attack. So they give to the some kind of offer to state that you have to accept it, we will give you protection, internal or external attacks. And then second term is in return the state accepting the system will provide for the army or give away provinces with the equivalent income to the British. So this is the return the state accepting the system will provide for the army. So whatever the system provide for the army, and provide the food and shelter and all that state has to be do. Without the permission of company, the state will not wage war or sign treaty with other state. See, now what happened? Without a company permission, any states, any region, any Nawab, anyone cannot sign a treaty or cannot wage war. That means cannot start the war with anyone without a permission from company. So there will be one English representative in the state assembly, and in the state assembly, the Nawab state assembly, the king assembly, in the one representative from the British. Other foreigners not to be employed in the state. So besides England, no one foreigner cannot be employed in the state, right? So like Portuguese, French, others, Dutch. Only Britishers employee has to be accepted in the state. This kind of condition at that time. So which are the state under the subsidiary alliance, right? सहायकर नीति बोलते हैं उसको. निज़ाम, मैसूर, अवध, गायकवाड़, सिंधिया, Bhosle and Holkar. These are the states who under the subsidiary alliance, they accept the subsidiary alliance, Nizam, Mysore, Awadh, Gaikwad, Scindia, Bhosle and Holkar. These are the under the subsidiary alliance. Here the picture Wellesley and subsidiary alliance, right? So very smartly, this system was like a sweet poison. See, which system is like a sweet poison? The subsidiary alliance. सहायकारक नीति बोलते हैं, हेल्प के नाम पे उसको लूट लिया, इंडिया के स्टेट को टोटली बिट्रेट किया, उसको मूर्ख बनाया. So the system was like a sweet poison, मीठा जहर कहते हैं उसको. By the implementing the system, this system is implementing the subsidiary alliance by the Williams, right? Very smartly this man, very Wellesley is a very smartly person who built this kind of system. The other state and other Nawab can do anything. By implementing this system, Wellesley annexed many provinces and expanded the rule of the East India Company. So he conquered many places, he won the many places, and he extended his many provinces, and he extended the rule of the East India Company in many areas. Governor General Wellesley asked Tipu Sultan to accept the subsidiary alliance system, which he refused. So Tipu Sultan, the very brave man who refused that offer subsidiary alliance, he refused that system. For declining the alliance system, the company with support from the Nizam attacked Mysore in 1799. So they declined the alliance with the system, with the company, and before that he accepted the treaty. Why? Because combined army attacked to the Tipu Sultans. As we know that Nizam, Maratha and British companies, and they has to be accept the treaty. But in this Mysore war, 73rd Mysore war 1799, right, Nizam attacked in Mysore in 1791, support from the Nizam and attacked Mysore in 1799. During the 4th Mysore war, this one the 4th Mysore war, Tipu lost his life while fighting against the British. So Tipu Sultan was lost his life during the 4th Mysore war 1799, support from Nizam and all that, and he lost his life against with the British. After Wellesley, who became the Governor General? Hastings. Hastings came to India as a Governor General, right? Warren Hastings, and Warren Hastings Governor General. He waged a war with Nepal and made the Gurkhas to join the army, and Hastings fought a battle with the Pindaras and took control over them. With the 3rd Maratha War, the Supreme of the company was established. See, during the 3rd Maratha War, the Supreme company was expanding the more and more. Right now, we have to put this. We have to now make an end of this video. Right. So see. What happened in this all the video, as we know that Maratha War, Mysore War, Tipu Sultan, Warren Hastings, William Hawkins, right? First Governor General William Hawkins, then Wellesley, then subsidiary alliance. What is the subsidiary alliance? This whole point you have to make a underline it, right? Put out the point from that and write in your Facebook every point, every character in here. We reach now here. In comparison to the earlier governor generals, we are reached over here on this point. We will start this. We will make next part will be shown according to our timetable. This is the part 3 and part 4 will be shown, and we will start part 4 from this point. Right, in comparison to the earlier governor general. So I hope you got up every point, and history need revisions, mugging, and a point out. Character name, year, place name, and reason. These 3 things you have to memorize in a history if you want to get a good marks. Clear? So please stay home, stay safe. Next part will be soon according to our timetable, and we will inform you when we will when we will upload this video, next video. So please stay home, stay safe. Goodbye. Have a nice day.